Hello my loyal companions, welcome back to the channel and to another episode of Rogue Revealed, the series where I take you through everything you need to know about Rogue Company. In this video I wanted to go over the third person view that is so crucial within the game and give you some tips about how to utilise it to the best of its advantage. If you do go on to enjoy, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel, but for now, let's get into it. Okay, so many games in the shooter category are what we call FPS, which is first-person shooters. So where you look is straight out of your eyeballs-ish, not exactly out your eyeballs, but you don't see your character model, you see the gun that you're holding, and you see what's in front of you from a normal POV. Where Rogue Company comes in different, as well as some other games, is you have a third-person viewpoint. So you actually have the camera placed slightly behind your character model, so you see your character, and you can see a little bit more of the world around you and your surroundings, rather than directly what would be normally in your eye point. This lends itself to be able to play around those camera angles and use them to your advantage in fights so that you don't have to sort of overexpose yourself to watch an angle. This can be a difficult adjustment for players who come from first-person shooters to then transition into these third-person shooters, but I'm going to give you some tips and some examples of how you can use it to be most effective. The most common example of where you use a third person is to hold corners. So this is when you stand behind a wall completely so you're not exposed, but because of the camera angle you get, you can actually see anybody approaching from that wall. If you're on FPS, if you stand in front of a wall, you're just staring directly at the brick. If, on this game, you stand facing a wall, you can see around it for when these enemies start approaching you and then move out and shoot them with great accuracy because you know their exact positioning. This is something, at the very bare minimum, if you want to be good at Rogue Company, you need to master. It is such a valuable tool because it means that you are fully in cover, fully safe, and you can wait for these enemies to come expose themselves and then you choose the opportunity in which is best to attack them. It doesn't matter how good your aim is, if you want to get anywhere near average in this game, you need to utilise the third person peek when it comes to holding a corner. However, you can use it to peek above cover as well, and this is something that's really good for surveying a large area if you're behind a short cover. I use this a lot on Factory. I stand behind a point on B when defending, and I can see straight over to the entire enemy advancement. I find out their exact positioning, I can call that out to my team, and it just gives me a great overview. But what you can see from all these examples is that I'm in cover, perfectly safe from an enemy attack or enemy line of sight, but I'm able to see everything, and this is really, really crucial. There's lots of examples of places you can do this in the game, and it's all about using your thumbstick and using your mouse and just manipulating that camera angle in a way that helps you see the most you can. Going on to sort of a more advanced example, and this kind of puts you at slightly more risk, and you have to be quite finicky with the movement of your camera, but you can actually, while on a wall, look completely around the other side of the wall, and this is really good if you think the enemy is also holding a third person peek on the same wall on the other side and you're about to fight. The only problem is if they're really aware and even doing half the same thing, they'll see you as well, and then you're in a big fight and you have to make sure you're the one reacting quick enough to that situation. But what you do essentially is you stand behind the wall and you move your thumbstick, you move your mouse all the way around until you're just going over. There will be a period where the wall will glitch into view and you actually won't be able to see through it, but you can get that right angle where you can see right around the corner. Using this third person perspective and just being safe, getting yourself in a position and messing around with the different camera angles is going to be absolutely imperative to you becoming a good Rogue Company player. But in line with you actually using this third person peek, you need to also understand how the cover system works in this game, and I will touch just slightly on that for you so you are aware. In this game, obviously, as I've said, when you're in cover, you can still manipulate the camera to see around you without exposing yourself. The game offers you the opportunity to get in what we would call full cover from this, which is when you are crouched behind an object or fully behind a wall, you cannot be shot, you cannot be seen. However, there are stipulations to this. In the game, when you do go into cover initially, so when you either crouch down into cover or you roll into cover, there is an amount of time where you can still be shot by the enemies. This actually isn't a latency issue, although latency will exaggerate this slightly, but basically what happens is because these character models do have a sort of swaying hitbox and do have some bloom to them, when you go initially into cover there's a bit of bounce and a bit of hitbox that is exposed to the enemies until you fully settle your character model behind the cover. In this instance, there is a small part of you that can be shot at, and if your enemies are accurate, particularly when it comes to phantoms who are good at hitting headshots, you are still able to be hit. So you have to make sure that you're not constantly bouncing up and down too much if you want to stay in cover and stay fully hidden from enemy points of view. That does then slightly lead into the last thing I want to talk about cover, and that is head peeking and how head peeking works in this game. If in the game you're crouched behind cover and then you aim down your sights, you actually peek up over the cover to do this, and it will do that automatically for you, exposing yourself. The other option is you could actually stand up and take your shots that way, which tends to be a bit more fluid in its motion, I find, because you can crouch up and down really quickly. I like to do this with single shot weapons like a shotgun or something, or even a sniper, because I just think it's quite a fluid motion to go up and down really quickly. But there is no head glitch in this game like there is with a lot of first-person shooters. When you stand up, you are basically pretty much fully exposing your head or any part of your body that doesn't look like it's in cover in first-person shooters because of where the eyesight is actually placed. It's placed more gun level than eye level. You can actually get this head glitch, so only your head is exposed, but you're still able to shoot. In this game, you kind of need to be exposed fully to be able to shoot properly, and so you can't do this sort of head glitch. You're pretty exposed when you do try and shoot people. This is quite important to know with the third-person viewpoint because you kind of need to know exactly how visible you are to enemies when you are taking these shots, and in Rogue Company, you're quite visible. Okay then guys, that's going to take us to the end of the video. Hopefully this was helpful for you to learn a little bit more about how to use a third-person viewpoint and a little bit about the cover system in Rogue Company. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on twitch.tv/RadTharGaming to see more live game commentaries and guides. I stream every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday, with the occasional Saturday if there is time. Other than that guys, all the links are in the description. I hope you have a fantastic day, and remember, be loyal, be brave, be relentless, and I'll see you in the next video.